Here's your word for the day from Calvary in Lake Havasu. Visit us on the web at calvaryaz.com.
Good morning, Calvary. We are now less than 2 weeks away from Christmas and continuing on in our Advent series, where today we are going to be looking at the first chapter of Luke, where one of the biggest curveballs in history was thrown to a young girl named Mary, who learns that she has been chosen by God to become the mother of Jesus. Chances are good you've heard this story before, probably many times. Most of us are actually so familiar with it that we've kind of lost our sense of wonder around this incredible series of events. I know we've all heard our own fair share of surprising baby announcements, but when it comes to shock and awe, Mary's story definitely tops them all. For starters, she's getting all of this information from an angel. And then there's the fact that pregnancy wasn't even a physical possibility for her at that point. And if all of that wasn't overwhelming enough, she's told that this baby that she's going to miraculously be having was God's own son and the Messiah that her people had been waiting on for hundreds of years. And all of those details that the angel is describing for her in verse 31, they match all of these sacred prophecies that she would have just grown up hearing about all of her life. And now, in this incredible moment, Mary learns that not only is the time here, the time has come, his arrival is soon, and she's going to get to experience it herself in her own lifetime, but that she was going to be a huge part of how that promise was actually fulfilled. It's easy to understand why so often this story is told, and all of the focus is on how faithful and obedient Mary was, and she was. In verse 38, after the angel Gabriel gets finished relaying all of this stuff to her, we get to hear from her finally and find out what she's thinking about all of this. And here's what she said in verse 38. I am the Lord's servant. May everything you've said about me come true. There's no panic, no negotiating. She more or less just said, okay, my life is God's to use however he wants. And it's tempting for us to just skip straight towards the application and start thinking about how we need to be obedient like Mary. And we do, but this story is so much more than just about a role model for good character. Here, we get to really see more about who God is and what his character's like. We see that he's faithful. He keeps his word, and we can believe that he is going to follow through on everything that his word says he'll do. Now, it might happen in a way that we didn't see coming, because clearly his power is beyond what our minds can imagine, and he's capable of things that we'd otherwise think were impossible. He is powerful and mighty, but he's also relational and personal. He could easily rule over his creation from a distance, but he chooses to interact with us. He sent his son straight here to take on human flesh and live in a broken world among the people. And he could have entered earth in countless other ways, but the way he chose to involve Mary in the process shows us his heart to include us and how he invites us to join him in the work that he's doing. Not because he needs our help. He could easily accomplish all of his plans just fine without us, but he loves us and he wants to be in relationship with us and bring us into his plan to redeem the world. So let's join him. You don't have to wait on an encounter with an angel. Just jump in where you see him at work. There's lots of ways that you can partner with us here if you're ready to take that step, or you can just start with loving your neighbor and caring for the people that are around you. But more than anything, this Christmas season, let's celebrate him for who he is and all that he's done and all that he's going to do. Our God is so great, and he is worthy of all of our praise. I hope you have a great day and a wonderful Christmas.